Welcome back, you guys, to the podcast. I am really looking forward today to talking about in-person events, mostly as a shameless fucking plug for the fact that we have our first ever retreat happening in like a month and a half. But I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, like planning a retreat, what that looks like. What's very funny about like my process is it's very similar to Buy the Blazer. I don't launch anything. I literally just say like, hey, came up with this yesterday. We're doing it, buy it, whatever. Here we are. So the retreat has been pretty much the same thing, but I actually want to talk about in-person events and just how much they've transformed my life, my business. I actually got this idea from Lex because we were talking about the podcast and she said, I wish you would talk about my relationships with people as we went into this year. I felt so much loneliness, I think, of just being an entrepreneur. Many of the times when I'm talking to you guys and you're like, why, Ashley, are you so big on masterminds versus one-on-one? Like, what does that look like? I've always said it's because I genuinely believe that when you have all these different energies in a room together, it can completely elevate the way you look at solving problems, how other people operate. You can get so much more inspiration than just like working one-on-one with a coach. Now, I obviously have one-on-one clients that I love, and they definitely need the one-on-one that they get. But the reason that like DVM exists, for example, which is our like highest level, intimate 12-month mastermind and one-on-one experience, is because it blends collaboration with the one-on-one that people want. And when I did that, I was very adamant at the fact that I think people thrive more in a mastermind, like group environment than just only one-on-one. I feel like there's an energy there that just can't be matched by just like one coach's, consulting, support, whatever that looks like. And it's kind of the same with group events. So I want to give a little bit of history to what going in person, whether it's for business coaching, whether it's just like a networking event. I don't really care like what we're talking about. I think it's all encompassing. But in person to me has been such a life-changing addition in the way that I have scaled my business, grown my community, and just I think felt connected to like the purpose of what the hell I do. Because I don't know about any of you guys as a business owner, but when you keep going and you're just like hustling and making more money and doing more, you just kind of get lost in it all. In fact, I've seen several business coaches that are kind of doing big pivots right now in their business. I can name like 3 off the top of my hand that are doing these like series, and they're talking about like one's called like The Becoming, and one's, this, and just all these different kind of like series about just coming and finding themselves in their business again. And I think a lot of that comes from the fact that like as business owners, as we scale, we invest in like one-on-one support and this, and we just kind of seclude ourselves in this little bubble with maybe one mentor or like one team member or a couple different people in our circle. And we don't really expand beyond that. Like we put our heads down and we focus, and the energy that I think we need to just like keep going and feeling like we can really see, like have the perspective, like look up and see, we don't get as much anymore. And I think that really happened to me in this last year, where I realized like how lonely I was and how much I just craved connection. And then I started going to in-person events. Now, what's really cool is I actually already did an episode on an in-person event that happened this summer. I believe it was called like the something kumbaya circle, like that's what I called it, like the very necessary kumbaya circle. And I talked about just like how insane that weekend was for me to go and sit with these 4 entrepreneurs and just talk about life and business. And I really left that retreat a very different human being. And then a couple months after that, I actually ended up going to another retreat with a business coach of mine and like 12 or 14 other women, somewhere in there. And it was so eye-opening to be around people that I'm like, oh my gosh, you're like crushing it. Like you're so much better than me. You know so much more than me. And we're all saying the exact same fucking shit. Like we're all saying, I have imposter syndrome. I fear that my business could be gone any day. I feel like I have to be louder to keep up. I've talked about a lot of these topics over the last couple of weeks on the podcast, but it's been so eye-opening to be around other people that I think just really like get you to your core. So anyway, let's go back a little bit. Until this year, outside of VIP days with a business coach, I have not really gone to in-person events. Now, what's wild, and I think I forget about it a lot, is I actually hosted an in-person event 2 years ago for financial coaching. It was called the Women's Expansion Summit. I had several people come in and talk about business and growth and development and financial wellness and just all these different topics. And I didn't really know what the hell I was doing when I hosted it. So part of me feels like I could talk about that event, and part of me feels like I didn't really have a plan, and it was amazing, but also extremely expensive. I was negative $15,000 on hosting it, which was really bad. But I really wanted to bring people together to make a safe space for people to connect and get to know each other. And one of the best things I did at that event, even though a lot of people are like, I don't understand the purpose of this, or like, I don't understand like what the goal of this is after all the speakers, when everyone went back and like got ready for dinner, I had everyone dressed in pajamas. And that evening we did like a hot seat, like panel thing where all the speakers stood up on stage or sat on stage, and we're just sitting and we're just drinking and having fun and just talking, and people just could ask us questions. So people asked about revenue, people asked about imposter syndrome, and it was like so cool because I realized that the point of the event wasn't just to educate, it really was for people to feel like they could just have a conversation with people that they might not have had access to or had the time or prioritized getting to know outside of that event. And I've really like taken that with me as like the one learning lesson of the event, minus, you know, be careful about timing of event and price points and, you know, book things later. Not like before you have people buying, like don't book the event before you already have people buying tickets. Like I always do in business, because we were 15K in the negative on that event, but that's not what the point was. The point is like the speakers were amazing, but the best part about the event was just like sitting and talking. And I learned that and was reminded about that again this summer when I went to this event. There was 14, as I mentioned, business owners. And I loved the sessions. Like I loved the trainings, and we did a couple workshops and all that. Like I thought that was valuable. But my favorite part about the event, there was two parts. One, it was the hot seat coaching, where people just literally shared like what they were struggling with, and we could all give feedback. And like, I just find that shit so fucking valuable. But the other piece of the event that was really incredible was the in-betweens. It was the times we were sitting by the pool just talking about life and business. There was, you know, times where I sat next to a couple girls that I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm like meeting this person. Like they're so cool. And we would just like be sitting on lunch, like talking about things. And I met some incredible freaking women at these events who have now become best friends. So I went to that event honestly because my business coach was hosting it. And I'm like, I want to go. Like that sounds fun. Like, you know, I want to meet other women. But when I left, I was like, I need to literally go to an event like every quarter. So I swear, I hope every single one of you guys at the end of this episode shoot me an event that's happening this year. I want to go to all of them. But I also had the inkling to like host them. And, you know, I'm sitting there and I'm at this event. And again, like I was sitting next to people who I'd seen on Instagram, you know, posting and having these big successes, talk about fear of failure. I had a girl who I was like, oh my God, like this girl is so fucking cool. And we became like best friends at the event. Shout out Jazz. She was on the podcast. She's incredible. And we met at this event, kind of not really knowing anything about each other. And we sat next to each other and I like prioritized getting to know her. And I'm like, this girl is so fucking cool. And what's crazy is like Jazz is obviously incredibly successful, amazing business, incredible heart, like just a gift, truly. And we talk almost every week now. Like I have her number. We talk every single day. She's in my top 9. That was one of our things that we had to do at the event, is we had to add people into like our top 9. And half the women in the top 9 I met at that event in the spring or in the fall. And I think that that's what's really cool. So as I am looking now at hosting my own events, I'm really having to be diligent about how do I create an experience for people when the experience is actually not what people need. I think it's what draws people to it, right? Like, oh, I want to come and like learn from this mentor. Oh, I want to like come and get business knowledge. But I think what a lot of you guys need is just friendship. You need people that make you feel safe and seen and heard. And I always talk about that in content, which is crazy because content is free. So it's like, then what's the difference of the in-person event actually? Like, why the hell would I spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to come and sit with a bunch of girls to like basically fucking gab for the weekend? But I want to remind you guys, if you look at maybe the last like 2 or 3 years of your life, what moments of your life have been the most financially valuable to you? What moments of your life have been the most eye-opening to you? And probably, if I had to guess, it was a day where you were sitting next to your girlfriend, shooting the shit about whatever, and they say something to you and you're like, damn, you're right? Like that probably held more weight than potentially the group coaching call you went to this past week. Maybe not, maybe like you'd flip those around in order, but sometimes like the greatest moments we have are just the in-between moments, or the moments where we could like push our business and our priorities and our, you know, fears and everything aside and just be in that moment with someone. And sometimes we can't facilitate that experience on our own without someone doing it for us. And I think for me, the reason that I love in-person events isn't just the fact that it's like literally like you're like living and breathing life with someone who's like 3 feet away, but it's also incredible the fact that you are in a space that's different than your current environment, and you can focus and create energy and ideas and thoughts and clarity that just genuinely cannot fucking exist when you're talking to someone through a camera lens. And it's been very interesting going to events where I'm like, I feel like I'm having the same conversations, but I feel so different because of the energy that I'm in, the space that I'm in, the environment. Like all those things contribute so much. And it also has required me to like slow down and just sit with ideas and thoughts and people that I probably would not take the time to do that with if I wasn't like forced to do that in that environment. So when I went into 2025, one of my good friends asked me, she's like, what's the vision for this year? And I actually was talking to my friend Jazz, who's now like literally one of my best friends, and I adore her so much. And she said, you need to like host an in-person event, Ashley. So in very typical fashion, I, in January, pretty much picked a location. I was like, Hilton Head, let's fucking do it. And I picked the dates and I messaged like 10 of my clients and I was like, do you want to come? And 4 of them said yes immediately. And we sold 4 tickets like in a matter of a couple days. And we actually, as this podcast is coming out, still have like 3 spots left. So if you want to come to the event, oh my God, where are you? But it's meant to create clarity. It's meant to help people fill some gaps intentionally, but it's also just meant to put people in a space where maybe they would never feel like they could be in unless like they were forced to. I don't know about you guys, but I really struggle to slow down. I really struggle to just enjoy a space. I think everything for me has to be like a win. Everything for me has to be like an achievement. I was actually talking crazy enough about to my dad about this the other day. We were just like reflecting on life, which I do not do with my father very often. But we were reflecting on life and he's like, what do I do for fun, Ashley? Like, what does fun look like? And I was like, honestly, Dad, I think the reason that you and I both struggle with like having fun is we can't do anything just to like do it. It has to be like, I achieve something, like there's a purpose. Like I read a book to expand my vocabulary and like, because reading's good for you. Or I was doing like mind games at night, because you're supposed to like activate your mind for 10 minutes before you go to bed. Fun fact. My ex-boyfriend told me that. So I've like held to that. So I like play a mind game at night. Like I'm doing all these things because it's like, this is good. This is for personal development. This is for expansion of my brain, blah, blah, blah. I really struggle to like do anything just for fun. I've started playing like board games and stuff. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like this is just for like fun. I don't get it. But it's the same thing with business. You can actually pay to go do something for fun. Some of you guys spent, $4K to go see Taylor Swift. It was just fucking fun, right? It might have energized you. It might have given you more of a creative outlet. It might have just like been something where you're like, I just felt free and inspired for 4 hours and I got to see my favorite. Like you did that for fun. And for some reason, when it comes to like business development, I think we struggle to like connect the same dots of like, I can go do this just for fun. Yes, we'll have takeaways. Yes, I'll learn something. Yes, I'll get clarity on my marketing or this or whatever for my business. But I like watched God how many times the Eras Tour on TikTok. And I think I got so inspired by that even though I didn't actually pay to go, I felt like a new human being seeing what this incredible fucking talented woman had created. And I think it's the same thing with in-person events. It's not necessarily I'm going to go to like learn a specific thing. It's I'm going to throw myself into an experience that's going to change me and elevate me and expand me differently than watching it on TikTok Live or hearing about it or watching the recap trainings about it. I don't think that's what it's about. I really believe there's just something about in-person events that just change us and elevate us. So we're hosting our first in-person event for By the Blazer. I've never done a big in-person event. I've never done a retreat before. Part of me is so fucking excited and part of me is like scared to death. We finally just kind of created the outline for the event. A lot of people are like, what's the intention of the event? And I'm like, honestly, you're going to have a fucking grand ass time. So figure it out. Like that was kind of my response back, and now we finally have our intention for the event. So our first phase, kind of our day one, is all about identity. I think a lot of business owners are feeling lost in themselves. I created a post today that was really good that I want to make an entire podcast episode about how I lost my identity when I hired this coach this year. It was like a $30,000 investment and it was not good. Like it was very heavy and confusing and I questioned like everything in my business for like 3 months. But the reason I want to talk about identity on day one is I want business owners to like find themselves again. I want them to be reminded of why they started their business in the first place. I want my friends and my community and my clients to be like, I'm good enough as is. I don't need to like mimic what someone else is doing in order to be extremely successful. So identity is going to be day one. Day two is going to be about integration. We're going to be talking about taking your identity and bringing it to your marketing processes, your sales processes, your delivery processes. I see too much like rinse and repeat online these days. And I really want people to feel like they're building disruptive and valuable and one-of-a-kind businesses, which is literally the three things that By the Blazer was founded on anyway. Disruptive and valuable one-of-a-kind businesses. And then the last day is going to be about innovation, of like, now that you know how to integrate this, like what is being an innovative business owner and leader and disruptor, what does that look like? And I know some of that you're like, I know exactly what that day looks like, but you also have no idea like how we're going to train that. And I think that's what the fun of it is I don't think you necessarily have to have a training in order for someone to comprehend an idea or to have massive clarity and action items that they can take away from each day. So that's what we're going to be talking about. That's what our 3 days are on. It's going to be in Hilton Head. It's in April. And I'm honestly so fucking excited. And I think like the best things I've done in business and in life, I've gone in being like, I have the intention, the execution can follow the intention, not the other way around. And I'm really honored and excited about the like 8 women that we've already had committed to coming to this event. I think it's going to be incredible. So I think the biggest takeaway about this podcast episode is I want you guys to think about like the best moments of the last couple years. What are the aha moments? What are the moments where you just sat there and like laughed your fucking ass off and had so much joy and excitement? Most of those events, if I had to guess, probably came from an in-person experience. You were sitting next to someone you love. You were, holding someone's hand and talking about like your vision for the future. Like there's just nothing that can take away. Like there's just nothing that can like replicate what in-person experiences and touching someone, like physically being able to like hug someone and touch them and like connect with them. I just don't think that can be, it just can't be replicated in the online space. And I think as someone who has built a very successful business online primarily, I miss being able to sit with someone and just like look into their eye and be like, let's fucking do this. Like, let's talk about this. Or seeing someone cry and being able to like give them guidance on like, you are amazing. Like, this is incredible. I did this exercise in Canada when I was there, and we had to sit next to someone and literally tell someone why we love them for 30 seconds, like straight. And I didn't know this person 2 days before. And that was just such an eye-opening experience to be like, I just want you to feel invincible and amazing. And again, some of these women I actually knew prior and had talked to them in through social media. And now to sit across from them and be like, I just like adore the shit out of you. I don't know. There's just something about it that's crazy. So I just want everyone to wish me the best of luck as I prepare for this event. And I also just want to inspire you guys to eliminate yourself from your current surroundings. Like literally just pull yourself out of your current surroundings and go to something. Pick up your girlfriend, like literally like grab her like by the arm, go to an event, go to a networking thing. I was making a joke with my friend Lauren the other day about Bumble BFF. I don't even know if that's a fucking thing anymore, but I think there's something so powerful about just going to something and being like, I don't really know what the execution of this is going to look like. I don't really know what's included. I don't necessarily know all the details, but the intention is this, and I'm going to fucking live in the intention. And for our first retreat and probably many to come, we're going to live in that intention. We're going to live in the intention of people are going to come and they're going to feel like they just got shaken up a little bit. They got kind of disturbed, disrupted a little bit, and they can feel like they can settle into their new self, their new identity, their new alignment in a way that could not have existed if they didn't come to that experience and sit 2 feet away from me as I like pour into them, or sit next to a girl who could literally become their best friends. That's what I'm fucking excited about. And I hope that every single one of you guys can experience this. If there's anything I can recommend to every single one of you guys listening, if you like this podcast and you're like, I just wish that I had this bitch sitting next to me screaming this at me every day. Like, you are meant to be in person with people. You are meant to connect, especially as women. I just feel like we need that. Like, I don't know about you guys, but after COVID, I just love hugs. I didn't like it before COVID. I love a good hug. Like, to hug someone and have them say like, I'm so happy you're here. Like, I want to get to know you. God, there's just nothing better. So I recommend that every single one of you guys come to an event, whether it's hosted by me or someone else. If you guys are looking for events, I'd be happy to shoot you over some that are happening either locally or connect you with entrepreneurs that are in your area. but go to something, put yourself, even if you're the only one there, you don't know anyone else, put yourself in a room and feel yourself extremely expanded. And I'm just so excited for the women that are coming. If for any reason you are sitting there and saying, I want to come to your event, Ashley, I'm like ready to go, and you want more information, you know where to find me, just connect with me. And if this isn't the event for you, then there will be ones in the future. But man, I'm freaking out. I'm like so excited. We're about 8 weeks away. And I genuinely feel like I'm going to leave this retreat a completely new person. And hopefully the women that come do as well. But go to an event, get yourself in the fucking room. You've heard it said 1,000 times. And wish me luck. I can't wait for the recap that will probably come in about 7-8 weeks. So save the podcast, wait for the recap. It'll be a good one.